Hello there. Last time I recorded a video, I don't think I've uploaded it yet. As I mentioned before, I record these and then I upload them in a randomized order, so one might go weeks, even months, between recording and uploading. But the last time I recorded a video, I automatically looked over here at the microwave and it wasn't there. The blame thing had gone futz. It was gorked. Can't remember where I got futz from. Fox Uniform Tango Zulu, F-U-T-Z. Gorked comes from the military SF novels by Elizabeth Moon. I think it's the Vada series rather than the Familius Regnant series. I'm pretty sure of that. But anyway, I had been, I'd been been nuking some popcorn, and all of a sudden the microwave just went, and I rushed in here, opened the door, and there was a little flame coming out of the side where the magnetron's at. I blew that out, we unplugged it, we threw it out, we now have a new microwave, and I can tell you that it is 0118. Boy, ain't I special. This is a sippin' and talkin' video. I've already been a talkin'. What do you say I do some sippin' too? Isn't that a pretty color? This is Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Proof. And if all you know about Jack Daniel's is the black label, the old number 7, you don't know nothing about Jack Daniel's. I've had the black, I've had the Gentleman Jack, and I've had this. I keep telling myself I need to buy just the regular single barrel, which is, I believe, 92 or 94 proof. And I'm sure that would be good, but I've got so addicted to this single barrel proof that I've never done it. This one is 129.4 proof. That is 64.7% alcohol by volume, if that's the way you think of things. This stuff is fine whiskey. So what am I going to talk about? I have two kinds of sipping and talking videos. One is where I'm going back over the topics of what I used to have, a playlist I used to have. I've deleted it, my miscellaneous videos, and recording them over again with this better quality setup than anything I've ever had before. And it's just my phone sitting on the kitchen table. And that's what one of these is. Some of them are just me talking about whatever comes into my head. This is one of those redo on the miscellaneous. And the thing I want to get across to you, and I need to preface it, there are a lot of words that I know, that I can use correctly, that I have the meaning of in my head, but I didn't hear. I saw them on the page and sounded them out, and preface is one of them. When I was a kid, just yay high, you know, if I was standing up and you could see all of me, that might mean more. I saw it on the page. It looked like preface. So to me, automatically, for years, it's been preface. The actual pronunciation is preface. It's a prefaces, as opposed to a precipice. It's a precipice. Yes, I'm silly. If you don't know that by now, you haven't watched too many of my videos. But I need to preface this by reminding those who are watching, oh, let me interrupt myself. I saw tonight, it's now the morning of the 6th of January 2025. I saw this last night, the night of the 5th of January 2026. I'm up to 79 subscribers. There for a while I was growing almost every week, and then it plateaued again, and now I've got one more. I have 79 subscribers. To anybody else, that ain't nothing. To me, it's the most there's ever been, so I appreciate it. Thank you. Back to the preface. This channel is intended for beginners in whiskey. That's the name of it, Whiskey for Beginners. Y'all saw that. And so, tonight I have advice for beginners. One piece of advice totally unrelated to the topic is at 129.4 or whatever the local bottle is, you probably at this point do not want to buy a Jack Daniel's single barrel proof. If you're going to go for the Jack Daniel's single barrel, get the regular, the 94 proof. And if you're brand new to whiskey, even 94 might be a tad hot for you. I keep a sniffing on it because it smells so good. Real smoky. And it tastes good too. But my advice for new whiskey newbies is try a variety of things as soon as possible. If all you know to begin with is Jack Black and Beam White, fine, you can start with them, or if you've already been drinking them for a little bit, you can go on to something else. But don't limit yourself to bourbon. Don't limit yourself to rye whiskey. Don't limit yourself to Scotch whiskey or Irish whiskey or whatever it may be. In the United States, bourbon is, of course, exceedingly common. Even in a place like Total Wine, which has a bunch of Scottish and Irish whiskey and rye whiskey and some corn whiskey, most of what you're going to find is probably going to be bourbon whiskey. And yes, this is Tennessee whiskey. I have another video, I believe I've uploaded it, it's a sippin' and talking video, on why, in my view, Tennessee whiskey is a variety of bourbon. So don't come jumping into the comments screeching at me that this is Tennessee whiskey, not bourbon. Go watch that video first, and if you have anything that can counter what I say there, comment there, please. Because I ain't looking to have a fight, and if you come jumping down my throat on this video, I'll just ignore you. But most of what you're going to find is probably going to be bourbon whiskey. I go into my Total Wine, one in Uptown here in Albuquerque, and they've got aisles at the front, then a transverse aisle and aisles at the back. And you go to the back aisles, and there's an aisle 5, and as you're going towards the back, this side is bourbon almost all the way down. The last bit of it is rye, and the category they just call American whiskey because it doesn't qualify either as rye whiskey or bourbon whiskey. Then on the other side, they've got the cabinet for high price stuff. They've got Scottish whiskey, they've got Irish whiskey, and then in the back wall they've got some Scottish and Irish stuff too. But out of all that, the single largest component is the bourbon whiskey, which is only natural. You know, when Congress in 1964 declared that bourbon is America's native spirit, folks, you need to understand America stretches from the far north of Canada all the way down to Tierra del Fuego, which Chile and Argentina share. Chile and Argentina. Tierra del Fuego. When I say Spanish things, I speak enough Spanish that I automatically pronounce them Spanish style. The United States is just one of many countries in America. Canada's in America, Mexico's in America, Colombia's in America, La Argentina is in America, Brazil is in America, Uruguay is in America, Venezuela is in America. Right now as I record, Venezuela is in the news. Nicolas Maduro is out. Thank you, Donald Trump. I'm not going to be political here, although sometimes my views come forth. I will say that you can really debate whether the President of the United States has the legal authority under the Constitution to go in and snatch somebody else, some other country's dictator, no matter how bad he is. But he's out. Y los venezolanos son muy felices. The Venezuelans are very happy. Meanwhile, the statists in the United States are very unhappy, which tells you something about how much concern they have for the people of Venezuela. But all of this is happening within America. So when Congress said that bourbon whiskey is America's native spirit, they were fouling up English just as badly as all y'all, I'm sure, do. It's the native spirit of the United States of America. Look at the Declaration of Independence. Look at the Constitution. Look at almost everything people said for a long time after the founding. They didn't call this country America. They called it the United States. It was Abraham Lincoln who brought us to the point where everybody thinks it's a consolidated nation that only has the name America. But anyway, I didn't intend to spend that long on all that, but as I say, what I believe comes out. I don't intend this to be a political channel. I don't intend it to be a religious channel, but what I genuinely, fervently believe comes out. And I don't mean to be rude when I say this, but if you don't like how I run my channel, you're perfectly free to unsubscribe. I'll miss you, although I don't know you by name, most of y'all. And some whose names I know, they're online handles, not actual names. I've not met any of you that I'm aware of. Wouldn't it be funny if I'd met every single one of you face to face and I didn't know it? And y'all are sitting there laughing saying, hee hee hee, I met him and he doesn't know me, hee hee hee. Wouldn't that be funny? Funnier than I am. But back to the point. Maybe, like me, you're a bourbon guy. Fine, well and good. But before you make that final determination, try something Scottish, try something Irish, try something from India, try something from Japan. Try some rye whiskey, try some corn whiskey. Try various things. And if you're at least on the upper part of the bottom shelf, and I put it that way because there are some bottom shelf whiskeys that are right good. I think of Evan Williams Bottled and Bond. Don't even cost me $20. but it rates up there with some $40 bottles as far as quality goes. But try some of these various things, you know. Don't go any lower, at least as a beginner, than the upper part of the bottom shelf, you know, say $25 to 30 or 40 bucks, because that will save you from wasting money on a bunch of garbage whiskey. But try various things, whether it's scotch, and with imported stuff the price is going to be higher. You know, $25 to $30 for bourbon might be $35 to $50 for scotch. So the cost of shipping it across the ocean, that alone is going to make it cost more. Then you have import duties and such. Who knows what the country of origin taxes things at. There's the cost of production. You know, Scottish whiskey typically is going to be 10 years old or more, whereas bourbon is going to be 4 to 6 years or more, typically. But try different things. When I was first getting into whiskey, people, well, let me rephrase that. There were 2 or 3 people. I love itching, don't you? There were 2 or 3 people. For the third time, there were 2 or 3 people. I shall repeat things repetitiously in a redundant manner over and over again. Yes, I'm weird. And silly, I mentioned that earlier. But there were people, a few people, 2 or 3, who almost demanded that I not try rye whiskey right off. Well, I did. It was a Knob Creek rye and Bullet rye, and I've recently retried the Bullet and wasn't too fond of it. But doing it early let me know that at some point, whether sooner or later, I wanted to try more rye whiskey. There were some who told me not to try Texas whiskey right off. Now, I'm a Texan. Adopted, but a Texan. I'm just as much a Texan as Jim Bowie, William Barrett Travis, Sam Houston, and Stephen F. Austin. Everybody would not acknowledge they were Texans. Not a one was born in Texas. They was all born back east. So I'm a Texan, and I wanted to try Texas whiskey. And there were some who said I shouldn't do that until I'd become more established. Well, if I hadn't done that, I might not have found that I like it. I might have indeed gotten so used to Kentucky and Tennessee style that when I did try Texas whiskey, I didn't like it. As it is now, I like Texas some. I like Kentucky some. I like Tennessee some. You know, don't limit yourself. Yes, it has proof to it, 129.4. And if you hold it on your tongue long enough, it does start to burn, but it's not a particularly hot whiskey. And it's got this smoky, oaky, solid, robust character to it. When you have been drinking whiskey long enough and you've built yourself up to where you can handle this kind of proof, at that point, I highly recommend this. Now, if by that time you learn that you don't like bourbon, you like scotch, well then fine, you're free to pass it up. That's not going to hurt nobody's feelings. Sure won't hurt mine. Drink what you like. The best whiskey is the whiskey you like, the way you like to drink it. You know, you might like Scotch, you might like Irish, you might like Japanese, you might like rye. You know, there is a huge variety. You might find that you do like bourbon, but only Kentucky and Tennessee style bourbon. And really, those two states, for all practical purposes, are their own region. They form a single region. And legally, the only difference between Tennessee whiskey and bourbon whiskey is the Lincoln County process and Tennessee law. Otherwise, it's the same thing. And I know I've already mentioned, go watch the video. But since I'm here, I want to mention one more point on that. If you take the exact same mash bill, copies of the stills, exact copies, the same barrels from the same cooper, and make the exact same whiskey in the exact same way, including the Lincoln County process, but you do it 10 feet north of Tennessee in Kentucky, does that Lincoln County process make it then Tennessee whiskey? A thought. Think about it. Go watch the other video. I don't have a way to put the link in the video. Sorry, I'm thoroughly amateur. You saw that. But you can find it in my sipping and talking videos. And I've said what I started out to say several times and had the big digression in the middle. So actual useful content, you probably got 5 minutes. Or 10 maybe. We're at 22 minutes now because of all my blathering. It's a sipping and talking video, people. I done talk. So I'm going to raise my glass, and although I'm talking Southern, once again, I'm a Texan, and I've mentioned other videos how I came to talk like this, but it's not fake. It's not an affectation. I didn't deliberately set out to do it. But though I'm talking Southern, I'm kind of in a Korean mood for toast, so doopshida.